Arsenal are set to go big in the January transfer window. This has been confirmed by Gary Jacob from The Times that Mikel Arteta is ready to spend heavily next month to ensure Arsenal's title challenge is not derailed by injuries, notably Gabriel Jesus, his main striker. Now, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of playing down, in some respects, from Arsenal about the possibility of them spending big, spending money, going out strong in the transfer window, and maybe just looking at a winger and saving that money until the summer months arrive. But the Times, who are, in case people aren't aware, one of the most credible media outlets on the planet, one of the most credible, claim that not only have Arsenal got the money to go big, although they've spent around 300 million net in the past few years, there is more money available due to the lowering of the wage bill, the budget being increased because of the Champions League, and Arsenal looking ever stronger. And I've said this many, many times, this Arsenal team has been fantastic this year. People want to ignore this stuff. People say they're getting bored of the conversation. That's just because you still haven't accepted the truth. This Arsenal team is very good indeed. They are in this title race. And if this news comes true, if this all actually happens legitimately, they just got scarier.
So close to doing Arsenal top of the league. Was that, how mad was that? Because Abby, you gave me a look when I mentioned it when we were sort of deliberating that could kill. Is it that wild?
It's not that wild, but I can't bear the thought of living in a world where that happens. So,
and I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that from people. This is the issue with saying Arsenal are good. People say they're bored of it. It's being milked. You can't milk something that's continuing to produce. It's freshness all the time to this. Arteta's interview on Monday Night Football. The fact they're going to go big in this January transfer window. All the little hurdles that get put in front of them get jumped over. You discuss it and people go, I'm bored now, I'm bored. And what you mean is that you can't debunk it or accept it, so you're just angry.
So I'm banking on them having their normal capitulation around February, March time.
You know, I will say why it might not be wild. Every single season, we always discuss this. I mean, you go back and forth, and we always say, to win this league, you got to get 100 points. Like, to guarantee you winning the Premier League, it's 100 points. I don't think it's that this season.
No.
That's absolutely right there. Absolutely right. And back to Abby's point, are Arsenal going to capitulate? Are Arsenal going to capitulate? That's the question. What do you think? It isn't so much a claim by Abby, but a hope. And the reason that I bring this up is because I think, by the way, I think Ade's right. I don't think you're going to need 95 plus points this year. You're definitely not going to need 100 points to win it. I think Man City, as good as they are, they're gettable. We saw that last night. Liverpool, atrocious, really. A weakened side as well, and they were still able to score 2 goals. And if Darwin Núñez was decent last night, he could have bagged a brace or a hat trick and knocked City out. City are gettable. If Haaland doesn't score, if Haaland gets... The crazy thing is, people say if Gabriel Jesus is out, Arsenal are done. I think that's more the case with City if they lose Haaland. If it wasn't for Haaland's alien-like return, unhuman, ungodly return of goals this year, they might not even be second. They might be 10 points off Arsenal by now. It's Arsenal that are better as a team this season than Man City. But the question is, do you think they're going to capitulate? Do you think they're going to fall apart? Do you think that they're going to crumble? And bear in mind before you answer this, to think about all the other hurdles that were put before them. They bottled top 4 last year. That was their best opportunity. Another bad window by buying City rejects. Their pre-season form wouldn't turn over into the campaign. Yes, they've won a handful of games, but who have they beat? Wait till they play a big team. Look, they played Man United, first big team, lost, that's it. Subsequently, after that, beating all the big teams they've played, going on a great unbeaten run. October was meant to defeat Arsenal. And in fact, by the end of October, early November, they were 5 points clear at the top. Gabriel Jesus getting injured. that was meant to be the end of it. Are they going to spend? They don't have any money left. And now, as we've seen, the big claims here from the Times that there is money. There is proper money to be spent. And I think that's what's really key. And what's not being discussed enough, and this never really gets discussed by football fans because the journalists, most of the journalists, don't understand the finances within football. And that's very important to remember. Now, I worked in football finance for a number of years at Barclays, but essentially I'm guided by the experts when it comes to this. And to quote the remainder of another segment from the article in the Times, which is key, and I'm going to read this to you here, is Arsenal have spent approaching a net 300 million in the past 3 summers, but have the financial flexibility to commit again after reducing their wage bill. This is why net spend as a barometer for how much you can spend now and in the future is a fugazi. It's why net spend as a measuring tool of how successful you are is a myth. Well, your wage bill is, generally speaking, far more considerable to your spending power because the majority of money clubs spend on players isn't paid up front. We saw Ben Foster speak about this the other day on one of the podcasts he was on, where if a player gets a £1 million signing on fee and they're on a 4-year deal, they get that staggered over 4 years. They get 4 payments of £250,000, typically at the end of each summer transfer window. And within the contract, it's stated if you leave or put in a transfer request before that point, you forfeit that money. That's why a lot of players want to leave, but won't go public and say they want to leave. They say the right things in the press. Otherwise, they forfeit that money. All these things should be common knowledge to football fans, but I think we typically ignore them because it damages our love of net spend. Or, no, definitely my player wants to stay. There's no way he would ever ask to leave, whatever it may be. These things go on all the time. But the fact that Arsenal have got the money, after reducing their wage bill, it gives them tens of millions of pounds they can spend and spread over the lifetime of a contract of a player. Now, we know Mudryk is one of the big targets. We know a DM and a midfielder and a left-sided centre-back are hugely important elements for Arsenal to elements of the squad that Arsenal want to replenish, that Arsenal want to improve on. We know all of this. And they will spend. And I think Arsenal will go big if they can sign the right targets. I think Arsenal will go into this transfer window and really move the needle if they can get primary targets. They're not going to panic buy because they haven't panic bought for a while. They haven't. When the likes of Tomiyasu, Ben White, and I name those 2 as examples because even Arsenal fans, and I got into rows on Twitter with Gooners telling me, not good business, overrated players, not going to move the needle. Are they even going to get into the first team? Look what they're doing now. Tomiyasu, one of the best fullbacks and defenders in the league. Ben White, brilliant centre-back. Has been debutising in that right-back role. Excellent. Well worth the money spent on the 2 of them. Of course, Ben White being significantly more expensive than young Tomiyasu. I say young Tomiyasu. They're all younger than me now, footballers. I'm an old man. And Arsenal, if they can bring in 2 or 3 targets, are they going to capitulate? Back to the question, as it were, from Rory Jennings. Are they going to capitulate? Back to the question here. No. Abby, as a Spurs fan, may want them to. By the way, there's no salt being thrown towards her. She's just obviously signifying something, one of the big voices from the Tottenham community and social media world. Everybody wants Arsenal to capitulate. Everybody is banking on it. And of course, there's a chance it could happen, but no one knows if it's going to or not. Because you all knew that bottling the top 4 last year would end their chances this. You all knew their pre-season form wasn't real. You all knew that signing Jesus and Zinchenko, buying those second-rate flops, bench warmers from City wouldn't move the needle. You all said once they play one big team, they would lose, and if they lose, they wouldn't recover. You all said that in October, they'd fall apart. You all said that once they dropped some points, City would run away. And so far, none of your predictions have happened. Now, if they do capitulate, it's broken clock time. I told you, Terry, my football knowledge is superior. All you do every time with Arsenal is predict the worst possible outcome. And you predict it every time. At some point, you're going to win. If you go to the bookmakers every day in every race you bet on a horse, at some point, a horse you bet on is going to win. That doesn't make you a good judge of what a good or a bad horse is in any particular type of race it's in. You're just guessing. And that's what's happening now with Arsenal. There's hope it goes wrong because Arsenal scare the living daylights out of you. Arsenal returning scares you. And everyone that says, I'm not scared of Arsenal, you're proving it. Debunk what I'm saying about them as opposed to attacking me. Oh, you're just trying to impress Jess. I don't need to impress Jess. Jess lives with me. That's been done. Of course, like the relationship's separate. I don't need to be nice to Arsenal to make her not leave. Can you imagine that as a relationship? Do you think I'm that level of simp? Man is zero simping here. I don't need to be nice to Arsenal to get subscribers. I had over 250,000 before I said that Arsenal scared me. I don't need Arsenal to make me money. 6-figure salary before I started praising Arsenal and becoming good. I say what I say because I mean it. I don't do agendas. I can take the banter, but on a real one, debunk what I'm saying. Arsenal having this money available makes them scary. Makes them scarier than before. And this hope they capitulate. I want to get your thoughts and I want to get your feelings on it. Do me a big, big favor and smash the like and share button. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon.